He is an award-winning chef who has showed off his skills on reality TV and even at the White House. Now, Marcus Samuelsson has written a memoir about his life, family, and the journey to the top of the food world. His new book is called Yes, Chef. Marcus Samuelsson joining us now this morning. Marcus, good to see you. Good to have you.
How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
42 years old. If you could think back over, let's say, the last 20 years, what would the highlights be?
Well, one of the highlights was actually coming to America. You know, I always wanted to live in Harlem, actually, and work here in New York, and just coming to America and becoming American is a big highlight.
I'm going to mention a couple of other things. How about cooked for the president's first state dinner?
I would say that's right up there, absolutely.
Helped the first lady with her vegetable garden at the White House.
Yeah.
Won Bravo's Top Chef Masters. By the way, you own 4 restaurants, including Red Rooster in Harlem. Yeah. I mean, these are all really big things.
It is. But you know, for me, some things you're in charge of and it happens, but I'm also someone that has been helped and coached by my parents and have been also got a lot of lucky breaks, you know. I think that's what I talk about in Yes Chef is really a sense of love for family. They really were there to support me and help me, and with my sort of love and work ethic, help from my family, that's really how I pushed through to become the chef I am today.
Let's talk about family. So we go back to your childhood. You talk about Saturdays being your favorite day of the week. Why?
You know, Saturday was always when we had the big meal at my grandmother's Helga's house, you know, so maybe it was roasted chicken, and then you know, we had to help out with the vegetables. So if you're really lucky, maybe I could even help out with the sauce. The next day, it was chicken soup. And it could even be chicken dumplings the third day. I learned basically all my love and cooking skills really came from my grandmother Helga. And for me to work with food today, I constantly feel connected to her by cooking today. We have her meatballs at the restaurant.
And it's funny, you mentioned that Saturday and what you did on Saturdays. There's also soccer in there as well. You wanted to be a soccer player.
Before anything, I wanted to be a soccer player. And you know, I just watched the Euros yesterday. And
big
wow,
time for you then, right?
Spain is playing so good. You know, we're really watching probably the best ever right in front of us.
I want to show you some pictures here. These are actually from the book. They're in the book. When you were a child, also you and your biological sister, when you see those pictures, what do you think about?
That's really where it started, you know. We were always encouraged to help out. We always had to, if we wanted something, we have to make it ourselves, you know. And that's, you know, that's where I grew up in Sweden, and we had a big garden, and there was rhubarbs there. We had to eat seasonally. We had to pickle. We had to preserve. Really, things the way I cook today, I was really taught from my home. But you know, even before that, coming from Ethiopia, my biological mother, I wouldn't be here without my mother. That.
Do you think about her often?
I do, actually. You know, I've never, like I talk about in the book, I've never seen a picture of my mother. And she walked from the village, Abragodana, 75 miles, when she was sick with tuberculosis. Me and my sister, my mom had tuberculosis. And she took us to the hospital. That was the last thing she did. She passed away. And we were then adopted. We were saved by the hospital, and then we were adopted to Sweden.
You become an orphan in Ethiopia, and like you said, you're adopted to the Swedish family. You grew up a black kid in Sweden. What was that like?
Well, you know, the Samuelsson, our family, for us, we were the family of, you know, 3 black kids, 2 white parents, Korean cousins, Jewish aunt. So for us, at the dinner table, you know, diversity was something that we had to deal with as a family every day. And of course, stuff happened at the playground, and you know, but you know, it also gave me a sense of purpose, and you toughen up a little bit. But I have a lot of good memories from growing up in Sweden. And like I said, my mom, she was there for everything, really.
Growing up black in America, growing up black in Sweden, is that anything like growing up black or the black experience in America?
You know, as a black Swede, you know, African Americans give so much culture to the rest of the world, right? I grew up learning about, you know, Marvin Gaye to Diana Ross but also about Malcolm and Martin Luther King, and also the Cosbys, you know. So there's so many things that are sent out about African American culture to the rest of the world, and it gave me a lot of aspirations. When I saw all of those things, I knew that, you know what, I want to come to America. You know, the fact that we had a black mayor here was a big deal in our home, you know. The fact that it could have African-American mayor, I think essentially probably paved the way for us to have an African-American president.
In the last 30 seconds that we have, if there were one goal that you wanted this book to achieve, what would it be?
Well, this is the narrative of my journey as a chef, but also as a black culinarian, showing as a professional how my journey was. You know, race has definitely been part of it, but it would never define me. It would never, you know, there was a lot of challenges there, and a lot of rejection, but also a lot of positive. And I love my field, I love cooking, and I'm really happy to serve the community in Harlem.
Want to see more black chefs?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. So, you know, I'm actually going to stop by the restaurant. It is a plan of mine today, and there are some other people around here that are going to do the same thing. You've inspired us all. We're going to come by and check you out.
Thank you so much
Marcus
for having me
Samuelsson.
on.
Thank you so much for coming by the show this morning. We appreciate it. That book, by the way, called Yes, Chef, it is on sale right now.